From Northbrook Ice Center, we are live for the SHL Game of the Week on YouTube Live and today on Marquee Sports Network as well. Good evening, everybody, and welcome into the broadcast. Max Anderson, Andrew Rubin up here in the broadcast spot. Chris Dubiel down at ice level. And Andrew, a game that a lot of people have been looking forward to for a long time as Evan Polakidis, after 14 seasons, makes his return to Northbrook Ice Center.
Absolutely, Max. Evan Polakidis, the longtime hockey director and head coach for Glenbrook North, makes his return. You can feel the tension in the arena right now. It's starting to fill in. A lot of feelings in this game, and it's going to be a great one here at the Northbrook Sports Center.
Of course, winning a state championship here at GBN about a decade ago, a couple of Scholastic Cups to go along with it, and a ton of success over the years for this program. Takes it over the York Duke side. Jeff Marks takes over for GBN in a season where they're starting to find a little bit of their footing here in the middle part of the year.
You mentioned it, GBN, probably not the start they wanted, but they've really started to pick things up. Jeff Marks, of course, won multiple state championships with the Glenbrook North JV squad under Coach Evan Polakidis. Going to look forward to seeing this type of matchup between two coaches that are familiar with each other.
You mentioned coaches that are familiar with each other. Of course, Jeff Marks, an assistant coach on the D2 for many years before being promoted up to the top job here with Glenbrook North this season. And Andrew, you know both of these men very well. You played for both of these men. Tell us a little bit about Jeff Marks, what he brings to the GBN program. It might be a little bit different than what Evan Polakidis had for the GBN program.
So, as you mentioned, I had the luxury to play for both these guys in my high school career at GBN. And Jeff Marks is wanting to keep things real simple. He wants to get pucks deep. He wants to get pucks to the front of the net. Try to keep things as simple as possible to make the team successful. Evan Polakidis, on the other hand, might have a little bit more complicated wrinkles into his game, maybe a little bit more preparing for the other side. Both coaches have been wildly successful at what they do. That's why I'm so excited to see them square off here tonight.
Meanwhile, on the Evan Polakidis side, man, you played for several seasons, including one where you were on your way towards a state championship. What do you expect from a coach like Evan Polakidis and what he'll bring to York?
Winning. That's what he's done at every stop in the road. He's won at Lake Zurich. He's won at St. Viator. He's won at GBN, and so far they're winning at York. You can't doubt the man's track record, and he's been one of the best coaches in the state of Illinois for a while.
Speaking of Evan Polakidis, we have the third member of our crew, Chris Dubiel, standing by with him right now.
Thanks, boys. Evan, I got to get this question out of the way. Is it weird to be standing on this side of the rink in a building that you know so well?
Yeah, it's a difficult night. I'm not going to lie, and never looking forward to this night. And a lot of people here that certainly shed a lot of blood for me over the years that came back, and it's nice to see them. But never really wanted to coach against GBN.
Shifting the focus to your team, you guys have points in 5 straight, but missing some key players. No Spano, no Sanfilippo. How do you adjust to get ready for this one?
Yeah, other guys got to step up, right? Jimmy's a huge loss, and Frankie gives us, something on our fourth line that, we don't really have anyone to take Frankie's place. So, we got to get through it, and we've been playing good hockey, and we'll see what happens.
Appreciate your time. Thanks. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Chris. And you can hear really the raw emotion. He never thought he'd coach a game against Glenbrook North. Here he is returning to this barn. Obviously, his York team, one of the top 2 or 3 teams in the state right now, in competition certainly for that top spot, but you could feel the emotion out of Evan.
You can really see it there, and there's no question ever about how much Coach Evan cares about his players and the program. It's going to be weird, like he said, coaching against GBN for how much he's put into that program. But I'd really like to see what they have to do here. You know that his players on York are going to be excited, and the players on GBN are going to be excited to play against Coach Evan as well.
The Dukes having won 2 of their last 3, as have Glenbrook North. Wins against Stevenson and Carmel coming to this one in back-to-back wins. GBN side, again, a new coach. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time to find your rhythm as a team, and it seems like maybe they're starting to find it a little bit.
And they didn't have a lot returning as well from the team that won the SHL championship the year prior. So it's been a little bit of seasoning for Coach Jeff Marks that he's had to have, but we see his team really starting to take over now.
No sooner than I said it, Chris Dubiel standing by with the head man for Glenbrook North, Jeff Marks.
Jeff, tough start to your season, but your team has really turned it around since the month of November with a winning record. How do you keep that going?
Just a lot of buy-in from the boys, working hard, offense, defense, both sides of the ice, win all 3 zones, and just yeah, working hard.
Speaking of that improvement, what growth have you seen from your team over the last 6 weeks or so?
We've figured out how to play with heart and play like a family. More teamwork, and that's gotten some wins, yeah.
Appreciate it, Jeff. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Chris. He mentioned some of the better results of late. Of course, the big result, Andrew, one we had right here on the SHL Network and Marquee Sports Network as well, the annual North-South game, one that you played in for many seasons, but it seemed like that game may have unlocked a little bit in this Spartans team.
You can see the confidence that they built after that game. That will kind of almost battle tested them in the moment. You know, it's that first game, you get a lot of fans, you're on TV, they're on the SHL network here, and they get a big win in overtime. And sometimes that's all it takes just to jumpstart a program, get them going in the right direction. And we've seen that now. You mentioned they've won, I'm pretty sure they've won 2 in a row, looking to make it 3 in a row here as they head to break.
And with that, we'll take a quick timeout. On the other side of a commercial break, we will have live hockey for you here from Northbrook Ice Center on Marquee Sports. Welcome back to Northbrook Ice Center. Both teams done with warm-ups, huddled around their goals. And with that, we will turn it over to public address announcer Jim Smith.
Welcome to the Northbrook Sports Center. Chiming in here. Okay. Welcome to the Northbrook Sports Center for tonight's game of the Chicago Bulls Community Showcase, featuring the visiting York Dukes and your Glenbrook North Spartans. As we get started here, it's time to meet the starting lineups. We'll start with the visiting York Dukes, who are coached by Evan Olakinas. And here's his starting lineup. First at left defense, number 46, Anthony Barati. At right defense, number 12, Anthony Pasek. At left wing, number 7, Jack Asher. At right wing, number 18, Luke Campusano. And at center, number 30, Ethan Maurer. And in goal tonight for the Dukes, number 32, Levi Brown. All right, and for the home Glenbrook North Spartans, coached by Jeff Marks, starting lineup. At left defense, number 95, Captain Jake Semmelhead. At right defense, number 47, Vinny Sarah. Left wing, number 80, Jackson Sterner. Right wing, number 97, Theo Pierce. And at center, number 34, J.D. Morrissey. In goal for the Spartans, number 1, Logan Spiegel. And the rest of the Glenbrook Spartans. And the rest of the team. All right, let's meet tonight's officials. The referees are Michael Verdon and John Van Erman. And our linesmen are Chris Zoris and Constantine Zoris. And now at this time, please rise if you are able and remove your headwear or hat if you're wearing it. And face the flag and welcome to perform the Star Spangled Banner, Glenbrook North student Jack Elrod.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous flight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Pre-game festivities now completed, and we're getting ready for ultimately, Andrew, 2 points in the standings and 2 meaningful points for both sides. Glenbrook North currently sitting in 8th place and on the playoff bubble as we head towards the holiday break. Meanwhile, York up near the top of SHL action. We were showing you the standings before the game today. A couple of important points beyond the emotions of tonight's game.
Absolutely, that's what it comes down to for the players in this one. It's 2 points that both teams need in the standings. At this point in the SHL season, teams with uneven games, it's hard to really judge who's in what position. So the most important thing is try to secure as many points as you can early on right now.
As a reminder, if you're tuning in with us here for high school hockey for the first time, we'll play 3 17-minute periods. There will be an ice cut only between the second and third periods. Between the first and second period, there will be a 3-minute break. So if you're planning those runs to the bathroom, that's what you can expect here tonight. One other important rule, I always get it, Andrew, especially when we come on Marquee. There's always a little bit of confusion. One major rule difference between high school hockey and NHL hockey is a puck directly out of play from your own zone is not a penalty in high school hockey like it is in the NHL. Inevitably, somebody tweets at me, somebody sends me a message, just a little bit confused. That is a distinct rule difference. I'll mention one other, being that on icing, the offending icing team can make changes in high school hockey. That's all you need to know. Other than that, 17 minutes up on the clock, and we are underway from Northbrook Ice Center for the SHL Game of the Week on YouTube Live and, of course, on Marquee Sports Network.
Starting goalies today are going to be Levi Brown for the York Dukes and Logan Spiegel for the Glenbrook North Spartans.
We'll get more to their stats here in just a moment. Levi Brown, the freshman, a lot to talk about there, but an early 2-on-1 for Jack Passion. Gets a shot off, but quickly turned aside by Spiegel. Sterner along the far half wall trying to make sure it gets out, but not quite able to shepherd it out. The Dukes in their alternate uniforms here, these gray sharp uniforms with the Dukes across their chests. Of course, Glenbrook North in the green base jerseys with the yellow writing across the front of their chests. Yellow numbers, yellow stripes down the side, green throughout with the black helmets.
Very clean look for both teams. And you mentioned we'll get to the goaltender stats. The underclassman Levi Brown with a 2.3 goals against and a 908 save percentage. For Logan Spiegel, he's rocking a 4.48 goals against and an 8.53 save percentage as well.
Draw one cleanly back to the point. Quick wrist shot from Anthony Pacente. Scooped up by Spiegel. Just 38 seconds into the game.
Interesting chess match on this. We talked about the familiarity of these coaches. They both know each team's face-off plays as they've been running for the GBN organization for a while.
Passion, puck off the draw. Now chipped back out to Pirati in the neutral zone. Passion clips along for Campusano. Now settled behind the own goal. Here's Luke Jackson. That turned over. Chance for Maurer in the slot. Active stick from Jackson. Prevents the opportunity for the Dukes.
Max, you were all over it. Great stick there from Jackson. Almost a disastrous turnover, but that great stick prevented any chance.
Chipped out to neutral ice. Glove down by Griffin Hayes. Chipped in deep. Back to play it is Sully Lyons. Four behind the goal come together. Still loose. Now the goal off its post. Just a minute and a half into the game.
Not a good sign there for the goal for the future coming off that easy early on in the game. See if they make any adjustments to the pegs that they put in the net. But I feel like we've talked about it all the time throughout the years, Max. It's almost a play sometimes that goaltenders have where they knock the net off its moorings to get its whistle.
Face-off draw to the left of Spiegel. One cleanly. Simmelhack wraps it around the boards. Ray Karras tries to shepherd it along, but puck played towards the net. Simmelhack again with it, not able to get it out. Kept it at the point. Chipped back towards Spiegel. Now Hayes lays ahead. Around the other side is Fafinski. Now Chen on the puck for Glenbrook North. Can't get it out. O'Leary. Fafinski below the line to Hayes. Centering pass. Nobody there for the Dukes. And that's chipped out. Sending O'Leary back to retrieve.
A little bit of choppy to start for both teams. York getting some good job with some offensive pressure, but unable to really handle the puck in the offensive zone so far. Glenbrook North still looking to get their footing as well.
That's the voice of Andrew Rubin to my left. Chris Dubiel down at ice level. Always fun to have that angle. He's just next to the Glenbrook North bench opposite us. Big thank you to Sam Schwartz stepping in as technical director today. Jimmy the Wiz not in the house tonight, but thanks to Sam Schwartz for stepping in as our technical director here tonight. Shorter with the puck, chips it back to neutral ice. Simmelhack drops it right back deep. O'Leary behind the goal, trying to get play started for the Dukes. Fortunate bounce onto the stick of Fafinski. There's two Glenbrook North skaters draped around him. Now Hayes fouls up the puck. Falls to Simmelhack.
Looked like that could have been offsides, Max. Looks like we're not going to get a call, though.
Chipped along, dropped deep. It'll be Chen to retrieve for Glenbrook North. Comes to the stick of Plyan, but Sterner couldn't hold the line, so then it'll be offsides.
Couple of early whistles in this one. Like I mentioned, both teams trying to get their feet going right now. Got to get that first puck touch. As we mentioned, just how much the emotions are for the coaches, it is also for the players because they want to do so much for their respected coaches in this matchup.
You can hear it on the GBN bench, at least for sure. They very chatty, very active, very into the game. There's just a lot of whistles here early on.
Turned aside by Spiegel. Has turned away the three opportunities towards his net so far. Sticked along, so no icing. O'Leary to play for the Dukes. Sterner wins the puck. Around one Duke. Eventually taken away and carried out of the zone by Michael Barton. Now Vinny Serra, the hero from the North-South game just a couple of weeks ago. Got his first goal and first point of the season in the OT winner over at Centennial Ice.
Almost a storytelling ending to that game there. It was always one of the biggest games of the year.
Seems like that game gets closer and closer every year as Keaton Nix looked for a play to the slot. Now a shot through traffic. Never got all the way through. Sterner carried out of the zone.
You mentioned Sterner. He's the one that had the puck in the zone earlier. Tried that centering pass that just missed for Glenbrook North. It's safe to say Jackson Sterner is the one that drives the bus for this Glenbrook North offense. He's already got 20 points on the year and 13 goals in only 17 games.
Now 4 bodies come together behind the goal. Pirati at the point takes a shot. Never got all the way through. And taken away by Blake Smith. Smith puts the puck in. A collision as he got rid of it. The GBN side wanted interference. No call.
Good rush there from Glenbrook North and Smith up the ice, going right down the middle of the ice. Looks like he tried to make a move there. As you mentioned, maybe could have been an interference call. We'll see how the referees play this emotional game early on. Always interesting to see whether they want to call it tight early on or if they're going to let the boys play a little bit.
At least from down here, it looked like a pretty good hit by Anthony Pacenti. But a nice job by Smith to just drive through the contact and really bounce right off of him.
Smith, like a lot of players on this Glenbrook North team, have some great size. I was able to walk by them as they were getting ready to get on the ice. There is a lot of size on this Glenbrook North team.
For as long as I've been doing this, Andrew, it seems like GBN's one of the more undersized teams year in, year out. That is not the case this year. Some good size between Semmelhack, certainly Smith, a couple other guys that give a little bit more heft to this GBN lineup than maybe in years past.
And not to mention New York also has some great size as well. I got to see them, and it's a good thing I'm not playing nowadays as the guys seem to be getting bigger and bigger every year.
Jack Passion catches up to this for the Dukes. Along the near half wall, Ray Karras takes it for the Spartans. Rink-wide pass for Benji Ovanian. Pretzi over to cut him off and clips into the Dukes bench. We'll get a whistle with 11:46 remaining.
Shots are 3-1 in favor of York, but really no high danger chances yet for either team. You like to see that for both starting goalies. As we mentioned, Levi Brown, the goalie for the Dukes, and Logan Spiegel, the goalie for the Spartans. You want to let those goalies get acclimated to a game, not try to make things too early on them tough so they can feel the puck a little bit before they have to make those tough saves. I believe this is the first offensive zone faceoff for Glenbrook North in this one. So York's dominated the dot so far, winning a majority of the faceoffs.
Stepping across center ice was Camposano, firing the puck in deep. Again, coming out of the rink. Not a lot of flow so far to this game, Andrew. A lot of stoppages.
A lot of stoppages, a lot of pucks out of play so far, a couple of icings as well. Expect to see teams try to simplify off of that. Both teams, they know each other so well, both strategies. You kind of expect that. You know where the other team's going to want to go with the puck. So trying to make that simple play is what they need to do.
Join the Wolves and Vitalent at their semi-annual blood drive on December 20th. As a thank you for donating, you will receive a limited edition t-shirt and a chance to win a team-signed jersey. Visit vitalent.org/wolves to schedule your appointment today. Either side with much of the way of a high-quality scoring chance. Oh, here's one. Puck comes across the crease, but Maurer couldn't put it on goal.
Yeah, just too far away on the backhand there for Maurer. He would have had a wide-open cage on the back door.
Passion gets sandwiched in the corner. Coming up to play it. And spinning it back around. O'Leary waiting for it at the near point. Instead, Passion turns and fires. Turned aside by Spiegel. Fafinski wraps it around the boards. Maurer behind the goal. Fafinski, sharp angle. Gives it up. Back to the point. O'Leary just does keep it in. GBN wanted offsides, but right in front of us, Andrew, looked like the right call.
Yeah, it looked like, to me at least, half the puck was out, but not the full puck. And all the pucks got to clear that blue line for it to be offsides.
Gerathanis takes a big hit in the corner, trying to hold on to the puck. Jackson comes over to support. Pretzi battles for it, eventually coming away with it. It's Griffin Hayes. Two-line pass. Semmelhack knocks it down, takes a bite out of him. Almost too many men on the ice for GBN. Puck just missed the man coming off the bench.
Yeah, smart play there by Timmy Semko to not play that puck. If he did, it would have been a too many men penalty.
Now Jackson Babula Fires towards the York goal, goes wide. Babula follows up, centering, awkward off the post. Follow up, but the goal off the post. Fortunate.
Yeah, that might be a thing to keep an eye on, as you mentioned earlier, Andrew, is that the nets seem to be coming off a little bit easily. And if the goalies know that could be something in your back pocket to hang on to for later. I'm not saying on this play, but
we should mention to the listeners at home, it is a penalty if the officials deem that the goaltender knocked the net off on purpose. That is a delay game penalty. But as my partner Max Anderson will tell you, I don't think he's ever seen that call.
In 10 years of broadcasting high school hockey specifically, and even college hockey, big hit behind the goal by Hayes. I've called better than probably 200, 250 games at this level and have never seen that get called.
We're starting to see the physical play pick up in this one here, Max. It's happened right in front of Chris, too.
Another hit as Hayes takes the brunt of it. Spiegel plays it behind his goal. Leaves for Semmelhack, but instead beating him to the puck was Michael Barton. Centering pass, can't get a shot off. Sarah behind the goal. Gets it on to Ovanian. Chips it out, play by Babula. He's been out there a while, trying to get the puck deep so he can go for a change, not able to. Semmelhack wraps it around the boards. Ovanian catches up to it. Finally, Babula and Smith able to get off the ice. 1-on-5, Ovanian just going to try to occupy time while he gets 4 fresh bodies on the ice. Jackson will fire it back in. That's Luke and Nick Jackson on the ice together. 10-44. Chipped ahead just over the stick of Nick Jackson. Sharp angle, backdoor. Brown sprawls across and keeps it out. What an impressive debut season it's been for the freshman Levi Brown. Came up a few games into the season, won the first 3 games he started in net against the 3 top teams in the state, which ultimately vaulted York up to that top 3 team status. Not bad for your first 3 varsity starts as a freshman.
Not bad at all, and that was a great save there that he had on Nick Jackson. He went post to post on that rebound opportunity. Did not seem like Jackson got all of it, and Levi Brown got enough of it to keep it out of the cage.
Luke Jackson settles it. Jerzyk collects. Another big hit right at the blue line. As physical a first period as we've seen on the network so far this season.
Yeah, Pliam's a little bit hobbled, but he's going to stay out there.
From the point, flipped in on Brown, snaps the left glove, and takes a whistle.
Shots have now evened 4-4. We've seen a couple of decent opportunities for both teams, but still not a whole lot of possession from either side inside of the zone or any sort of good passing plays yet, but that's to be expected, of course. Expect the physical play to take a little bit more of a toll early on, and we'll see where this game ends up later on.
Draw to come to the right of Brown. Won cleanly by the Dukes, flipped ahead by Shorter. Not out, in on Brown, and has to make a quick save.
Giorthanos was in perfect positioning right there on that face-off play. So he intercepted that pass. You'll see it here on the replay. Gets that shot through, which is always so important. Giorthanos used to be a defenseman, now playing forward, and then we see that save from Brown. No rebound as well. As you see, there's a couple of green sweaters around him.
To avoid any confusion, it is not Alex Pastorak in goal. It is, in fact, Levi Brown, who we're being told does not have one of these gray jerseys. I guess that'll happen when you don't start the season on the top side, so he's using his teammate's jersey here tonight. Also, there's another different jersey out there. Ben Jensen is in the 25 unnamed jersey. Always fun for us broadcasters up here as Giorthanos a step too soon into the zone for offsides.
Hey, at least you guys have that info.
What do you think? I casually sharing it over the air here, Chris. Got no other way to communicate down to you, so you've given away the broadcaster's secrets here.
But obviously that happens because I believe both these teams only wear these jerseys at the varsity level. So when you have to call a player up from their varsity 2 squads, they don't get a jersey for everybody, as those cost money. They have just a few reserves that they use as needed. And with both teams having injuries, sickness, suspensions at this point in the season, it's not an uncommon thing to see.
Shot blockered away by Spiegel. Now Babula. Karate behind the goal. Leaves for Hayes. On comes Pretzi. Tries a centering pass. Couldn't corral it. Instead, it's Smith coming away for it. Smith, 1-on-3, makes one man miss. Gets a shot off, but couldn't get much on it, and it was wide of the net.
Almost an unbelievable play there from Blake Smith, showing off the hands, unable to complete the play and get a shot off, however.
Pretzi drops it. Collects his own dump. Instead, it comes a Semmelhack stretch pass, trying to release Karras. Just jumps over his stick. Able to catch up to it before icing. Coming over to lay the hit was Shorter.
Nobody went down to the ice, but that was a big-time collision there.
Karras keeping it alive for GBN. Turns around and fires, just misses the net.
Benji Avnanian almost got a stick on that one. Would have been a good opportunity there.
Comeback absorbs the hit to make sure the puck gets out. Jackson below the goal. Keaton Nix comes away with it for the Dukes. Nix hit his own man with his dump attempt, so didn't get all the way through. Now Liam Brown goes rink wide, just misses Barton. Jackson looking for Ovanian, instead Keaton Nix, and another big hit as Jake Semmelhack puts him down to the ice.
Expect to see that a lot this game. Jake Semmelhack's been a physical presence for this Glenbrook North team for multiple years now.
O'Leary weaving through the ice, takes a shot, deflects up into the netting. Andrew, you mentioned just a moment ago some of the injuries, some of the suspensions also involved, and always kind of equated December in high school hockey to August in baseball, the dog days of the season. They've been at it for 3 or 4 months at this point. Taking a look at some of the scores from around the SHL. Carmel and Lake Forest locks 2-2. New Trier and Stevenson in a tight one. Loyola down as well. But you talk about the dog days, and you get into December, Andrew, and it's really the grind of the season. Once you're able to turn that calendar to January, you're getting closer to the end of the regular season, more like September in baseball as this centering pass just misses. But really the grind part of the season's right now in December.
Absolutely. You got Thanksgiving tournaments. Some of these teams got Christmas tournaments. A lot of teams will play a tournament as well early on. It's a lot of games in a short amount of time because you don't realize how quick, once the calendar flips, the end of the season is. It's only a couple weeks, and then the playoffs start. So a bunch of teams try to jam in their games right now before they leave for that break.
Yeah, speaking of which, York on the second half of a back-to-back. They played last night, beating Stevenson at their home rink 4-2. So, yes, very compressed part of the schedule for everybody right now.
And those back-to-backs are even more important in a time like this, as we mentioned, with the injuries, with the suspension, sickness, all that going around. It's real tough to have to play on a back-to-back for nights like these. We'll see how York manages that.
Trying to clear up the middle of the ice, turns it over. It was Gerathanis that tried to take advantage, but couldn't quite get his shot through. Offsides. We'll get a whistle.
Yeah, it looked like Sterner was just a step offsides there as Girathanos tried to turn the corner. So that's what brings us to a halt again. Just a lot of whistles in this one, not a lot of that open play. Should mention both these coaches, when I played for them, both very defensive-minded coaches as well. They do not want to give up goals, and they want to do almost whatever it takes to do that.
Passion along the far wall, just able to clip it across the blue line. On comes with it is Passion. Has Fafinski on his wing. They all come together in the corner. Puck waiting on the near half wall. Hayes picks it up. O'Leary waiting for it at the near point. Couldn't get it back to him. Now Sterner in transition, but the big hit by Shorter. As physical a first period, Andrew, as I've called a long time in this league. Both these teams are laying hits like you don't normally see at this level.
And these are not just angling into the boards. These are open ice, full speed on full speed collisions. From experience, I can tell you those do not feel good.
O'Leary and Karras come together. Shorter able to win it for the Dukes. Comes the Sully Lions. Lions and Semmelhack exchange. Trying to play up the middle of the ice, looking for Nick Jackson. Goes all the way to Shorter. The pass off the wall, perfectly played by Shorter. Here's Passion. His shot turned aside. Nicks below the goal, clears some space. Again, Semmelhack brings the wood. Now Semmelhack, he'll jump up into offensive play as well. Leaves for Ovanian. Karras can't handle the backhanded pass, just a little bit behind him.
It's those little things we see both these teams with active sticks of Nanian trying to get that puck over to Karras. Tried to on 2 occasions, but good defensive play from York was able to shut that down.
The positioning, too. There's no room in the middle of the ice. Absolutely nothing. Nowhere to go.
And it seems like both teams always have numbers defensively right now. Whenever there's any sort of battle, the defensive side is there supporting first to get that puck.
Rink wide, looking for Brown. Icing the call is a little bit too far behind center ice on the dump in. Taking a look at one of those hits from earlier. That was Mason Shorter. No shortage of them in the highlight reel tonight.
So we see that shot there. It was the play, actually, the indirect pass, I believe, from Shorter. As you mentioned, it was right on point. A beautiful pass off the boards. In my opinion, one of the most underused play in today's hockey game. Good face-off win there, as there is a chance for Liam Brown. But Logan Spiegel flashes the glove there to keep this knot at 0.
Probably the best save so far from Liam Brown. 2:37 remaining in the period. Draw to come to the right of Spiegel.
We're going to get both centers kicked out of the draw.
Give Barton and Babula a chance on the draw. It's GBN that wins it cleanly. Semmelhack rifles it out. Smith trying to catch up. Pacente in the battle as well. Comes to Barton along the far half
We're going to have
wall.
a penalty.
And the game's first penalty, holding the call. And a power play opportunity here for GBN at the latter stages of the first period.
We're going to get another look at it. We see Smith loses the puck there, and then he kind of just drives him into the boards without the puck. For the first period, the way this has gone, probably not a penalty considering what they have let go in this one, but by the letter of the law, it is a penalty, and that will be the first power play opportunity for Glenbrook North in this one.
Getting a look at GBN's power play so far in the season. It's been a bit of a struggle. 9th in the SHL at 16.3%. Typical rule of thumb here at the high school level is 20% and above is a pretty good clip. Trying to pass across, looking for Gerathanos back door, never got all the way through.
Almost a really good look there from Lyons. Kind of a set play, it looked like, for Gerathanos to sneak in back door.
Semmelhack skates with the puck, leaves for Sully Lyons. Lyons now evaluates. Semmelhack across for Gerathanos. Centering in the slot. Sterner, the redirect, looking for Smith, or was he trying to go on goal? A little bit hard to tell, but either way, went wide.
Puck ends up in the York bench, but great play there from the Spartans, as it was that shot from Gerathanos. Got tipped by Stern. It looked like it missed by about 6 inches. Right there, you saw it on the replay. Just outside the far post. If that can get on net, there's also another opportunity. If it doesn't go in for a rebound as well, be a real tough save for Brown to make.
Semmelhack for Gerathanos. The shot, a lot of traffic in front. Hit bodies, but never got past the goal of Levi Brown and back out to neutral ice.
I think that puck hit the backside of Smith in front, and had it not hit him, I think it would have been a pretty good chance that puck would have ended up in the net.
One of the largest bodies on GBN trying to park his way in front of the net. Off the boards, but not out. Semmelhack alive on the far wall. Drops for Lyons. Now Gerathanos. Flips it, looking for a deflection. I believe it was turned aside by Brown.
Good rebound control to get that to the corner by Brown.
We talk about that so often on the clearance, and now played by Gerathanos with a high stick. And he's going to give up a defensive zone draw on the power play. But we talk about that a lot on the SHL network, Andrew, and Wes Anderson details it so well, our goaltending expert. It's not just about giving up rebounds. You're going to give up rebounds. It's controlling where they go. That was a really good example of that from Levi Brown.
You'll hear a lot of it. Your goaltender has to be your best penalty killer sometimes. And when you're outnumbered, rebounds like that are opportunities for teams to score because of the numbers they'll have in front of the net. So it's so important to steer those rebounds into low danger areas.
Especially with the way that GBN is running this particular power play. It's a lot of shots from the point with tons of traffic in front. So rebound control especially key.
As I say, that goaltending expert, Chris, remind me, I believe you play some goaltender as well still these days. Is that correct?
I am a defenseman, so I am standing right in front of the goaltender.
I know I see those men's league picks. I don't know why I thought I saw more gear than that, but certainly as a defenseman, you know better than the goaltenders, is what I am always told.
Well, you got to communicate with them a lot and kind of know where they're going to be and what they need out of you. So there's definitely an understanding between goalies and D-men for sure.
End of the power play. Back to 5-on-5 action in the latter stages of this period. 10 seconds to go. Jackson whiffs on his dump attempt. Karras chips along for Nick Jackson. He almost had a chance in the slot. Couldn't handle the puck. Karras, a step too soon. Would have been offsides, but instead, it's the end of the first period here at Northbrook Ice Center, 0-0.
Yeah, both teams still trying to get their footing. We saw the power play opportunity, but with the long change, we'll see how the offense picks up in the second.
One period of action down, scoreless here from Northbrook Ice Center. We'll take a quick timeout. When we come back, second period action for you live on Marquee Sports Network. Welcome back to Northbrook Ice Center, the SHL Game of the Week. And this week it's on YouTube as well as Marquee Sports Network. Appreciate you joining us. I know that there's people around Chicagoland certainly watching on Marquee, on YouTube, around the country and around the world. We routinely have somewhere between 10 to 15 countries tuned into the SHL network on YouTube around the world every single season. I know tonight there's some viewers over at the Landmark in Northbrook as well watching on Marquee Sports Network. Shout out to you all. Thank you for tuning in.
It really is amazing the strides the SHL network made from where it started to where it is now.
All thanks to the viewers at home, certainly. Members of the league, always willing to chip in a little bit more money for the next cool feature. I mean, the wireless cams, the goal cams. Got state-of-the-art headsets and audio equipment. Able to bring you this clean feed to viewers around Chicago and around the world. Here's Jack Passion. Chips it ahead, throws it into the corner. Below the goal, the Dukes. Maurer for O'Leary. Can't quite handle the hot pass. Has to put it below the goal.
See the forecheck there from the Dukes, able to win that puck right away after the dump and gain possession.
Here to the long change now with the Dukes going left to right and Glenbrook North right to left. O'Leary keeps it alive. No, he did not. Offside's the call. Couldn't quite keep it head of the line.
We did not have a linesman on the blue line there, which I think is interesting for sure. But one thing that I think could have been called possibly was I believe he closed his hand on that puck. I don't think that was the call, but that's what it looked like it did to me.
Taking a look at the great sponsors here, the SHL, Loyola Academy, CCTY, GBN Hockey, York Hockey, New Trier Hockey, and Acros. Big thanks to our sponsors here on the SHL network.
That should have been a penalty there. It looked like Glenbrook North Center Blake Smith used his hand on the faceoff. That is a penalty, a faceoff violation. GBN got away with one.
Pretty blatant, too. Didn't exactly hide it very well either. A huge hit from Smith on Maurer, and now the retaliation on Pacente is going to earn him a penalty. And Pacente is absolutely heated about it as well. We'll see if this is just 2 minutes or possibly more.
Yeah, it looks like it could be more. That to me, that looked like a clean hit from Blake Smith. So I don't think we're going to be able to see it from our camera's vantage point as it was behind the play.
That was just a massive collision. And for Pacente there, you want to stick up for your teammate, but that's a situation where you got to take a number. Maybe you give him a little bit of a shot, get in his ear a little bit, but now you're going to be shorthanded in a scoreless game where chances are at a premium. So that's a situation where normally you'd like to see some restraint.
Not that, but Pacente is one of their better penalty killers as well. He's one of the better players on this team. Definitely want to see him out there in a situation like this where you are shorthanded, so that hurts the Dukes even more.
A little surprised, just a 2-minute minor, not just the hit, but also quite the boisterous reaction to the penalty as well. I think they're fortunate just to have a 2-minute minor here.
I agree, Max. I think possibly could have been a little bit more on that.
Smith with the shot, not able to get it to go. 2-minute power play here for GBN, unsuccessful on their first attempt. Trying to get it back to Semmelhack. Pinches ahead to keep it alive. Now Smith in the corner takes a peek. Leaves for Sterner. Had 2 goals in that big North-South game a couple of weeks ago. Semmelhack drops for Lyon, centering for Sterner. The initial save followed up by Smith, and he scores! GBN takes the 1-0 lead early in the second period.
What a play for the Spartans on the power play. We saw the puck go high to low, and that centering pass goes to Sterner in that bumper position. He takes a shot. It was initially saved by Levi Brown, but the rebound went right to Blake Smith on the doorstep. Johnny on the spot, who buries it, makes no mistake, and gives the Spartans a 1-0 lead in this one. And we see that penalty taken by Pacente come back to bite the Dukes.
And it's Smith with that initial hit that started that altercation, and then he's in front of the net, posted up like Thomas Holmstrom right in front. Or if you go back a couple generations, Phil Esposito. Either way, choose your net front guy. Smith played that perfectly.
You mentioned it, Chris. That was a great pickup. His hit was the one that really drew the penalty for the Spartans.
Nix trying to get York back even. It's sent up to the roof by Spiegel, and a low roof here at GBN, one of the lowest roofs in the entire league. Not more than, I'd say 20 feet at the most between ice level and the ceiling here.
It is a theme in the Scholastic Hockey League. You have a lot of low ceilings. Only a few teams have the luxury of playing with a higher ceiling.
Draw to the right of Spiegel. Bodies trying to sort through and find the puck. Eventually it's Jackson. Tries to play it up the far wall. Shorter keeps it alive initially. Deflects to the near side. Ovanian off the glass. Able to catch Karras. Karras gets a huge hit. Able to absorb it for the moment, but eventually played out.
Mentioned it, Max. That was a full-speed collision. Karras did a great job of absorbing that. Could have been a real dangerous play.
Here's Brown. Shorter making his way up the slot. Chipped in on Spiegel, who wraps it up.
We're going to get a little bit of physical play after as well.
Getting another look at the chance from the slot. It was Sterner that had the initial shot, and Smith waiting for it on the back door to finish it.
We get it from the goal cam there. I think we're going to get some coincidental penalties as well after that skirmish. that started in front of the net that found its way into the corner.
Liam Brown's going to take a seat for York. Luke Jackson for GBN. A chance to mention one of the other differences between this level of hockey and the NHL. Coincidentals stay 5-on-5. No 4-on-4 hockey here, as you would typically see in the NHL.
Interesting fact about both guys in the penalty box, they also have brothers on their respective team as well.
The Jacksons and, of course, the Browns. Family affair for both these programs. Camposano's older brother. Remember calling many of his games back in the day.
Passion has, I think, multiple
certainly.
older brothers.
I think I'm due for calling Jack Billy at least once a game. Papadopoulos trying to pry it free at center ice. Teams just continue to try to lay the wood both ways. Physical all over the ice.
Good stick there from Sterner to knock that puck out of midair.
Brown settles it shorter now. Trying to play it up through the middle of the ice. Just does miss the ceiling. Played by high stick, ruled the linesman, but it was touched by GBN first, so we'll play on.
Mentioned that puck it almost looked like it went through the ceiling here, through the catwalks we have at the Sports Center. It's more physical play as they enter the corner.
Shipped along now, Semmelhack. Now Brown. Morrissey checks a man against the corner. Now Pirati with the puck. Trying to weave his way through neutral ice. He's come back waiting for him. Instead played below. Maurer centering. Backhanded shot turned aside by Spiegel. Semmelhack wraps around the boards and out as Sterner will carry. Sterner loses the puck. Pretzi. Around one man, Pretzi, backhand, big save, Spiegel. Pretzi with a nice move. Couldn't beat the goaltender, Spiegel.
Looked like he kind of fanned on that backhand shot, couldn't get any elevation on it. I think he also had more time than he anticipated. But a great move around the defenseman that was by Pretzi.
Passion carries the puck into the offensive zone, turns, Spiegel fights it off, rebound. Not able to finish it were the Dukes, but the first sketchy rebound given up by Spiegel.
Starting to see York's to press on this GBN team a little bit, getting a couple of quality chances in a row.
Pretzi. Now Sarah. Up the wall but not out. Passion keeps it alive, fires it deep. And GBN content to take the icing.
We're going to get another look. That move there by Pretzi, you see, just undresses the defenseman. And I think he tried to elevate that backhand shot into that upper corner, but he was unable to. Ended up going right into the pad of Spiegel. And the Spartans were able to clear that rebound opportunity.
Draw to the left of Spiegel, comes to Shorter. York has not had much going offensively so far tonight. Down two important offensive pieces in San Filippo, and most importantly, without Jimmy Spano.
And GBN's doing a good job of keeping them in small spaces.
Big upset tonight. Carmel, the OT winner over Lake Forest. New Trier just a 3-2 lead on Stevenson. $11:50 left in the second period here. A lot of action going on around the league. I believe there's 4 games going on tonight.
It looks like all of them are within 1 goal. So we're going to get a hand pass. But I think that just speaks to the depth that this league has and the level of play that it's become.
Yeah, Andrew, we saw it last Sunday. Stevenson, you look at the win-loss record, you think, oh, they're just not very good, but they played a very good Loyola team and gave them everything they could handle, and then they got a big win the other night.
Absolutely. They jumped out to a 2-goal lead in that one that we saw. This looks like this puck is just going to make it for icing. But we even saw Loyola take the lead in that matchup, and Stevenson came back and tied it up again.
Do you know a volunteer or youth player in your hockey community who deserves to be recognized? The Wolves and Guzman E. Gomez have teamed up for the Lil Wolves Amateur Hockey Volunteer of the Month program. Learn more at chicagowolves.com/fansden. Big thank you to our good friends over at the Chicago Wolves, and of course this partnership with Marquee Sports Network for the Community Showcase. More to come throughout the season in this great partnership with the SHL Network. O'Leary chips it ahead, deflected down, loose side of the net. Hayes couldn't bury it. Comes to shorter at the near point.
Max, I think that puck actually went off the post, possibly.
See if we can get a replay of that. Shot from the slot. Fafinski buries it. Top left shelf. Ties the game.
What a play for the York Dukes. Fafinski finds himself right between the hash marks. As they force the turnover, cycle that puck down. There's that backhand pass. Almost blind. What a play that is.
Griffin Hayes,
Yeah.
What a job there. Really not necessarily, I mean, he'll tell you he did it on purpose, but he was just trying to get the puck towards the middle of the ice, and somehow it ended up in perfect position for Fafinski.
I wouldn't doubt it if he did do that on purpose. Maybe he did know. But either way, what a play that was, and Fafinski did not make a mistake as he wired that puck.
That thing was hammered, and he's now got 4 goals in the last 2 games, coming off a hat trick last night in that win over Stevenson for the Dukes.
Red hot is Fafinski trying to add more as Brown. His shot deflects up over the netting for a whistle.
So we see a fan get the puck there, and they celebrate that accordingly. And the Dukes are going to need Fafinski to step up, as we mentioned, with Spano out. They're going to need somebody to make up for that, as he is a point-per-game leading scorer for this team. If Fafinski can fill that two goals per game right now, hat trick yesterday in the time out with Spano, I don't know if there's a good chance there off the faceoff if he can sustain that, but picking up his play is going to be huge for the Dukes with Spano out.
Similak around the boards. Now loose. Come back. Knocks it forward, but couldn't play it any further. Karras misses everybody. Should have been icing. Not sure why it wasn't. Pirati carries it out for the Dukes. Pirati drops it deep, sends Gumbach and Brown in on the forecheck. Settled by Spiegel. Now Brown trying to centering again. Waiting for it was Papadopoulos. Couldn't get a shot off. Vicente comes and pinches from his defensive spot. Off the leg of Jackson. Papadopoulos trying to win it back. Back to the point, Brown. His shot gloved by Spiegel with 9:45 remaining in the second.
Good save there from Spiegel. Something I've also picked up on, Max, is we've seen Spiegel play the puck a good amount behind his net. That is a huge help if he can do that effectively to his defenseman. With the size that both these teams have, if you can take a little bit of pressure off your defenseman chasing that puck behind the net, that saves hits on them, that wears them out throughout the game.
You can tell between these two teams, Andrew, I don't think it's a coincidence. Now, this has been as physical a game as I've seen in a long time in this league. Everybody on the ice, everybody in the building knows what this game means to both sides. Obviously, to Jeff Marks trying to make a impression and a mark on his program that he now runs. Of course, Evan Polakidis, after 14 years here at Glenbrook North, returning for the first time, and the intensity has been there since the opening draw.
Yeah, this had playoff-like intensity right off the hop, and that has carried through about the halfway mark of this game. It's been really fun to watch, especially from down here.
You mentioned it, Chris, that usually you see that another big hit as O'Leary absorbs it. But usually that seems to dissipate a little bit towards the end of the first period, and as you get into the second, usually it flows a little bit better. That has not been the case tonight. The hitting has stayed hot and heavy, and I know it may not look like it, Andrew, but something you certainly could talk about, and Chris weigh in as well. Hits take a lot of energy out of the hitter as well as the hittee. It is not as easy as it looks, and throughout the game, it can certainly wear on both sides of the equation.
Absolutely, and these full-speed collisions that we're seeing, there's a one in every 1,000 guys that they don't feel it when they deliver a hit like that. But when you're delivering that hit, you feel it. Like it hurts a lot. So you got to have the guts to not only deliver that hit, but you're going to feel it. You got to keep playing as well.
Here's a shot just missing the cage of Spiegel. Shorter waiting for it at the near point, never got it. Instead, it's Hammes. O'Leary cuts him off. Passion going to carry it out of the zone. Semmelhack able to take it away. Now Chen fires it deep. O'Leary. A second period goal for the Dukes has gotten us back to level. As the puck now stuck in the corner, finally comes off. Sharp angle. Awkward for Brown for the moment, but comes free. Here's Fifinski. Chips it in on Spiegel, who will glove it and take a whistle.
Going to be another offensive zone faceoff for the Dukes. And I don't know, Max, to me it seems like we've seen a lot of faceoffs, one to the winger on the board side in the offensive zone for the Dukes, coming to the middle, and they're ripping shots. So far they have not been able to capitalize, but they've had a couple of opportunities. That's something to watch out for as this game moves on. And it looked like York almost wanted to shoot that dump in on net and try to force the whistle so they can run that faceoff play.
Draw to the right of Spiegel. Nix takes it. O'Leary, a shot from the point. Hits Jackson on its way. Never got all the way through. Back out to center ice.
Good shot block there from Luke Jackson.
Shorter rifles it in. Luke Jackson on the far side. Clears it. Goes up the wall, but too far for icing. Ring in the season with the SHL and the Chicago Wolves on December 20th. Folks, a huge day at Allstate Arena for the SHL Network. Of course, us here at J&M Media as well. The day kicks off with 2 SHL League showdowns at the barn on Manheim. Carmel at Glenbrook South will start at noon. York and St. Viator at 2 p.m. The SHL will also be collecting unwrapped gifts for Toys for Tots, so please bring any unwrapped toys with you to the games. Tickets for SHL High School Holiday Doubleheader include admission to the Wolves contest. As this shot off the post and wouldn't go in, as trying to rapidly finish this read here. Jackson's shot gloved. Holiday doubleheader include admission to the Wolves contest against the Iowa Wild at 7 p.m. at Allstate Arena. Visit ChicagoWolves.com/SHL Holiday Doubleheader for tickets and details.
And Max, you mentioned that shot. It was off the stick of Theo Girathanos, who ripped it right off the crossbar. He beat Levi Brown, but unable to beat the crossbar. And it was Girathanos who last year provided a spark to this Glenbrook North team down their postseason run especially.
Leave it to the play-by-play guy to be reading a read when the puck goes off the post. Here's Morrissey. Goes between the legs of Sterner. Now Morrissey comes to support, wins it, tries a centering pass, just clipped the outside of the cage. Had a man waiting in the slot, but turned over by the Dukes. Fifinski now trying to take it out for the Dukes. Sterner from a sharp angle, knocked down by Pacente. Maurer plays behind the cage. And able to get it back out to neutral ice.
Good response shift from Glenbrook North as they're now delayed offsides. They were pinned in their own zone for a little while as York was pressing. Top line for Glenbrook North gets a little bit of sustained offensive zone time for the Spartans.
Semmelhack collects for the Spartans. Maurer over to Pester in the corner. That's Ovanian. Now 4 bodies come together. It's Luke Jackson that comes away with it for GBN. Karras whiffs on his exit attempt. Stays alive for York. Trying to get it across to Pacente, but the active stick of Nick Jackson didn't let it happen. Karras trying to release up the ice. Now Ovanian can't quite handle the puck. Ovanian with a hit. And now Duke slow to get to his feet is Fifinski. I think it's as much about exhaustion as anything else. He's been out there a while. Ovanian pushed off the puck. Now Pirati. Turned over once more. Here's Ovanian 2-on-1 if he hurries. Centering pass, but couldn't get much on the attempt to Karras. His shot off the post deflects up into the netting. And should be a neutral zone draw, if I'm not mistaken, Andrew.
They actually changed that rule, so any sort of shot towards the goal, even if the deflected out off the net, off of a up attacking player, even if he deflects it out of play, it'll still be a face-off in the zone. They do that to promote scoring. I think they did that in the NHL as well.
And that's why we've got Andrew Rubin to keep me honest.
It's very hard to keep up with all of the USA Hockey rule changes as well. To say the least, from when I played the game to now, even while I was playing, there were so many rules that constantly going in and out on changing. It's hard to keep up with it.
Jensen trying to play it up the wall. Comes to Papadopoulos. Now Gumbach across. Here's Pretzi. Top of the near circle. Pretzi shot. I don't know if it knuckled or took a deflection, but Spiegel didn't track it very well. O'Leary, the shot again, and Spiegel drops the glove on it.
Yeah, hopefully we can get another look at this. I think it hit off the crossbar, Max. I believe it got deflected as he shot it, right real close there. And I think it hit off the crossbar. That's why we see the official wave his arms, no goal. Get a great look at it here.
Yeah, that absolutely clipped the top of the bar. Good call.
I definitely heard it. It was a very faint little ping, but it was audible.
Both teams making the iron sing, as they say, in the last few minutes in this one, as we're still knotted at once.
5:10 remaining here in the second period. After this period, there will be a full ice cut. But don't go anywhere. We've got programming throughout the intermission. One of the great traditions here at Glenbrook North, the GBN Ice Dancing team plays at every GBN home game, and we will carry that live for you here on YouTube and Marquee Sports Network during the intermission. We'll also have Jeff Marks' appearance on the Scholastic sit-down. We'll have a portion of that interview as well, so don't go anywhere at intermission. Make sure you take the quick moment, maybe to get a refreshment, maybe a quick bathroom break. Hurry right back. Got programming throughout intermission. Semmelhack hesitated just a moment, now leads to a 3-on-1. Gumbach has a man across. What a stick! Fouled up by Pretzi, but over the bar. GBN fortunate not to be trailing in this game. Back the other way, Sterner. But you saw just that slight hesitation from Semmelhack, Andrew, and almost led to disaster.
Yes, and that original good stick almost led to disaster for the Spartans as well, as it went right to the stick of a York Duke, but he put it over the net. So we're going to get an icing on this one. We're starting to see maybe a little bit of some open space on the ice open up. GBN had a stretch pass intended for Sterner after that opportunity.
Well, this was the gamble from Semmelhack that led to the 2-on-1. Papadopoulos tried to play across, just couldn't get it over the stick. Pretzi the follow, but over the crossbar as well.
Looked like great back pressure there from Theo Girathanos. He got the stick of the shot just enough, and I think that's why the puck went over the net.
Draw to the left of Spiegel. Hayes plays behind the goal. The Dukes have controlled a lot of this period, currently tied. Shot deflected by Hayes, but just trickles into the glove of Spiegel.
Saw that off, another face-off win again for the Dukes. So we saw some good patience as well. So we see that deflection. Maybe not enough steam behind it after the deflection that the Dukes would have liked, but either way, a good chance.
Draw to the right of Spiegel this time. Trying to clear it up the boards was Karras. Deflection's fortune. Ovanian plays it too far for Karras, and that'll be icing.
GBN looking for a few stretch passes recently. That's why they're taking these icings, but looking to hit a little bit of a home run play to generate an odd man rush, possibly get a quick goal, take the lead. We'll see how aggressive the York defensemen are, and if they keep a third man high, the York Dukes, to try to prevent a sort of odd man rush, long pass like that.
3:51 remaining here in the second period. York really starting to lean on GBN, looking for a go-ahead goal. O'Leary's shot never got all the way through. Lyons swings it around the boards, but not out. Ovanian battling for it there. Says Hayes that comes away with it. O'Leary pinches to keep it alive for the Duke. Centering past the deflection. Goes just over the bar off the stick of Hayes. Shorter, near point. Fires towards goal, goes wide. Jackson turned on the puck, but no call. Shorter catches up to it. Now Barton getting pressure from Karras. And now Karras, the active play, earns his team an offensive zone draw.
Good effort there from Karras. You mentioned it, Max. That pressure knocking the puck away, and Levi Brown had no choice but to freeze that puck. It's also, I think that puck left the zone. We're seeing a lot of snow around the benches, so when the team has the puck at the point, if it goes to the point where the blue line meets the bench, it's going to be real tough to handle. It's going to be a real simple play, most likely, from the defenseman in that situation.
Shen waiting for it at the near point. Can't handle it. Now Fafinski already with 1 goal trying to add to the tally. But a good play from Semmelhack to support his line mate. Smith able to clear the zone. Amis comes together with Pirati. Pirati gets the puck back deep. Jerzak carrying it out for GBN, plays it out to neutral ice. Smith with it. Getting his feet moving a little too quick. Fafinski takes it. He'll drop it deep. After a long shift, he'll head for a change. York a little slow on the change. GBN not quite able to break out the way they were looking to. Jerthanis centering pass looking for Smith, never got through. Now Smith in support in the corner. Late arriving Sterner. Semmelhack keeps alive at the near point. Intentionally wide as Jerthanis tried to steer it on goal.
Heads up play there, almost a real good chance for the Spartans.
Shorter coming late to the play, almost takes it away, but Sterner behind the goal. Good stick lift to win the puck back. Sterner, sharp angle, fought off by Brown. Morrissey centering. It was a blocker from Levi Brown to make sure it went wide. Another shot deflects in front. Best bout of play here for North in some time, putting pressure on the Dukes.
Still keeping the pressure, unable to get a change as York. They're going to get one now as they're able to ice the puck. But wow, good string of chances and some good possession. So we're going to see this shot that ended up getting blocked. So much traffic in front of the net there on that point shot from Luke Jackson.
85 seconds to go until we get a nice cut here in the second intermission. Got Chris Dubiel down at ice level, breaking it down. Andrew Rubin to my left, Max Anderson on the call. Matt Freeman on our main camera. Sam Schwartz filling in for Jimmy the Wiz Olsen. Jimmy's fine. Nobody freak out. It's going to be okay. We'll get Jimmy back on the 20th. This was a scheduled fill-in, so no worries there. Morrissey with the puck. Backhanded shot. Sterner following it up. Puck still loose, and eventually Brown able to secure it for the draw.
Some more good play from the Spartans. So we saw it was almost a makeshift small area 2-on-1. As Morrissey tried to backhand pass. I believe it was a pass to Sterner. Ended up going on net. Puck popped in the air, and we saw Sterner try to take a whack at it, but Brown had it secured.
Minute 14 remaining in the period. Draw to the left of Brown. This is like the first offensive zone draw for Glenbrook North in quite some time.
Well, I will say they had the icing face-off right before that, but before that one, yes, here's a chance.
Morrissey the pass. Sterner the finish. 2-1 GBN.
What a play from the Spartans. As right before, like I said, it was Morrissey and Sterner. This time they complete on the backhand pass. Sterner catches, goes forehand, backhand, and finishes.
That's about as pretty of a goal as you will see. The pass was divine. The finish, oh man, just the puck control by both of these players was just art on that goal.
I believe it was Girathanos who got that puck up to Morrissey. He drew a couple of defenders and found Morrissey. That's what opened up that 2-on-1. He should be getting an assist as well. And like you said, the poise from Sterner at the end to be calm with a little bit of patience, fake out the goalie, and then put it open to the wide open net.
In a period, Andrew, that feels like York was controlling for the most part. GBN gets the goal with 62 seconds remaining in the period.
Those last shifts in the period are always so important.
Misses everybody, so that'll be icing. York will get an offensive zone draw out of it.
You know, they always say first shift of a period, last shift of a period, and the shift after a goal are the biggest shifts in a game. We see GBN is taking advantage of that with this late goal here in the second period, but still not out of the woods. They got 37 seconds to either add on or try to go in up 1 to the intermission.
Stalemate on the draw, coming to support from a sharp angle. The shot just wide from Liam Brown. Jensen now along the far half wall. Comes free, shorter, near point, winds up, slap shot just misses. And Spiegel couldn't get a piece of it. O'Leary's shot gets deflected just over the bar. York trying to find one here in the last few seconds of the period. That missing everything, but it will be icing with 8 seconds to go in the period.
Looks like Jeff Marks is going to put his first line back on the ice. For these final 8.5 seconds, Evan Polkitas has his first line.
It's gone final between New Trier and Stevenson. A narrow 3-2 win. So Stevenson, nice bout of hockey recently, and St. Viator a 2-0 lead. St. Viator currently top of the table, I should say top of the standings, been doing too much soccer. Shout out Phil Bergman, the great assistant athletic director over at UIC. Do some soccer broadcasting for them over there, as well as for the Chicago Fire. But that will do it for 2 periods of action. A late second period goal for GBN gives them a 2-1 lead.
Great period from both teams there. Saw the pace increase in a couple of goals. This last 17 minutes is going to be an absolute battle.
So with that, we'll take a quick timeout. On the other side of a break, we'll have the GBN ice dancing team right here live on Marquee Sports Network. Welcome back to the Northburg Ice Center. It's time for the GBN Ice Dancing team. We'll step aside for their performance here live on Marquee Sports Network.
It was better than you think. Yeah. Was it? Okay. I also think I'm trying to have she's on like they like her when she's out there just doing back. Yeah, don't fall down, don't run into each other.
The GBN Ice Dancing team, a tradition here at Glenbrook North, every GBN home game. We'll take a timeout. When we come back, we'll have Jeff Marks, who sat down with Dylan Ward and Luke Jordan on the Scholastic sit-down. On the other side of a break on Marquee Sports Network. Welcome back. SHL Game of the Week here on Marquee Sports Network. Now during intermission, we'll bring you the Scholastic Sit-Down from last week. Now, of course, the Scholastic Sit-Down is an SHL Network podcast that comes out every week, hosted by Luke Jordan and Dylan Ward. They had Jeff Marks on the podcast last week. Recaps his opening time here as GBN head coach, as well as the thrilling North-South game before Thanksgiving. Enjoy.
To be honest with you, I mean, first point, like he's a stay-at-home guy. He's super aggressive in corners, and for him to just be out there, like I knew we've been struggling on the 3-on-3 all year. I knew I needed some hands out there on the second set to come around, and I think I put Sully lines with Vinny and Ray Karras out there. I just needed some hands, and he just came in over the blue line and shot that. Holy cow, went in and I keep seeing it.
That was another type of play. Here on the Scholastic Sit Down, our special guest for this week is none other than Glenbrook North varsity first-year head coach Jeff Marks. Coach Marks, how you doing today?
Good evening, gentlemen. How are you?
Doing great.
Good.
I'm sure you're doing great after an incredible week. And the first question I want to fire off, just getting to see it as soon as we get off the air on the broadcast, I looked down. Your team is so passionate, down taking a photo with the Glenbrook Cup after beating the Glenbrook South Titans back last Wednesday. And one moment I definitely won't forget about that game is you just looking towards the audience and giving an emphatic fist pump. Tell me what that win means for you personally and what it means for this program.
Yeah, that's huge for the program. Obviously, the Glenbrook South, Glenbrook North rivalry is one of the biggest games we play in every year. And even for the coaches, we prepare so much for that game, and it takes a lot out of us. And we just when we were able to win that with the team we had this year, it was super special. The boys worked really hard to get to that point.
Vinny Serra scores the overtime game-winning goal in that one, securing the victory. According to the SHL stats, that's his first point of the season. Pretty awesome moment for the defenseman. How is he feeling after seeing that one went in?
I don't think he still believes it, to be honest with you. I mean, first point, like he's a stay-at-home guy. He's super aggressive in corners, and for him to just be out there, like I knew we've been struggling on the 3-on-3 all year. I knew I needed some hands out there on the second set to come around, and I think I put Sully Lines with Vinny and Ray Karras out there. I just needed some hands, and he just came in over the blue line and shot that. Holy cow, went in and I keep seeing it.
That was another type of play that I won't forget because it was kind of bizarre seeing from a blue liner the offensive ability to just kind of push ahead, shoot right into the offensive zone. I mean, you would think he was a leading scorer with how he entered the zone with such confidence, then fired it home. But then as soon as he scored, you almost saw his eyes pop out of his head looking towards the section. He couldn't believe it. So I'm not shocked. He still can't believe it. But hey, it did happen. And one more question for me about that game. I know your pregame interview, it was very short and sweet. It was very, you know what, we're just going to treat this like practically any other game. Is that something that you kind of learned from playing in these big types of games in the past to approach it as such? Because you came from the JV team and varsity 2 team where you played in a lot of championship games at those levels with the Spartans.
Yeah, as tough as the that Wednesday game is before Thanksgiving, you have to treat it as just another game. You have to soak in the event, like get ready for the event, soak it in, get your pregame jitters on, and then you got to just go play hockey, right? So win or lose, it's another game with 1,200 people watching it, right? And I don't know
Yeah.
what's watching on the SHL, but we probably got some good numbers that night. But yeah,
Oh,
you
yeah.
got to treat it as another game. You got to prepare the same way. You got to watch video. You got to know what they do, what we can do to prevent what they're powerful at, and just hope we're on the right side of that at the end of the day.
Expanding on what Luke was saying, your first year varsity 1 head coach, but you've been with Glenbrook North for years now, winning 2 state championships at the junior varsity level. How did coaching with Glenbrook North as a program come to be, and what has changed along the way to when you started to now?
Yeah, I mean, I've been in the program for I don't even know 12 or 13 years, and we've always been super successful at the JV level, and we've won a state championship at the varsity level along the way. I mean, I've learned a lot from my mentors. Even Rich Blakey, Evan Polikitis, all the guys that were there. I mean, we're just we're a grinding team. Every year is different. One year we're grinding, one year we're super offensive, one year we got an all-state goalie. You just never know what you're going to get, right? So. Um, yeah, just those JV championships, man, were those special. Those were a lot of fun, but that's where we're at. This year's a lot different, to say the least. But we're grinding. We're gonna get through this, and we're gonna. I told Ross Foreman about 2 weeks ago, we're gonna surprise some teams down the road here. We got 6 big games in December, and we're looking to put a dent in this league. So we'll see what happens here.
Welcome back to Northbrook Ice Center here. Max Anderson, Andrew Rubin alongside. A 2-1 lead for GBN. A late second period goal, Andrew, that got them the lead after a period that felt like York controlled a lot of it.
Yeah, and York outshot Glenbrook North in that second period, but looking forward to this third period. All the scoring came in that second period, no scoring the first period. And I expect these last 17 minutes to be an absolute war on the ice, especially with the physical play we've seen so far.
It was really an emotional start to the game. Of course, Evan Pulakitis coming back to Glenbrook North for his first game after coaching here for 14 seasons. And with that, we will send it down to ice level where his team trails by 2-1, and Chris Dubiel standing by.
Evan, we knew this was going to be an emotional one coming in, but are you at all surprised with how physical it's been tonight?
Not really. I thought they would come out to try to hit us, and they've done a good job. They played with a lot of passion, and I'm not so sure we've met that level of will. So we got a period to try to take care of business.
Not a lot of room in the middle of the ice. It's a low-scoring defensive game. How do you create offense and break through here in the third?
Well, I think we got to, get pucks deep and go forecheck. I mean, I'm disappointed in our level of forecheck, and we're really good at doing it, and it just hasn't happened tonight. So let's see what we do in the next 17 minutes.
All right. Thanks, Evan.
Thank you, Chris. Great work as always. And something, too, seeing York a couple of times this season, that forecheck against New Trier, the first time we saw him all the way back in October, was so good. To Evan's point, hasn't been what we're used to. That can be a second night of a back-to-back issue as well, but I would expect these first couple of minutes of the third period for York to really come hard.
And we saw it, I think, only one or two times in that second period where they were able to force turnovers, and that's how they got their goal and got some chances as well. So it's easy for Coach Evan to point to that as the biggest difference in this game, and we'll see if York can bring it in these last 17 minutes, but Glenbrook North maybe goes into potentially a defensive shell a little bit more, maybe not as aggressive to try to combat that forecheck of York. We'll see how their exits are out of the zone.
17 minutes up on the clock here in the third period. Live from Northbrook Ice Center, a packed crowd. Dozens lining the boards as well for a critical couple of points at stake here. Showed you earlier in the broadcast, York standing at third in the SHL with a very real shot to continue to compete. Meanwhile, GBN currently sits in eighth. They've played much better hockey here over the last month or so, trying to get off that playoff bubble. Of course, the top 8 teams in the SHL make the SHL playoffs. Third period underway. Max Anderson, Chris Dubiel, and Andrew Rubin with you. 15 seconds in, we get an icing.
Max, something to note, you always told me you felt like the hockey season really picked up at Thanksgiving, and you mentioned we had that game of the week between Glenbrook North and Glenbrook South, that Glenbrook North got the upset win, and that's really turned their season around.
Yeah, they've played much better hockey since, I'd say, the middle of November. It was a really rough start to the season, and something you can expect when you have a new coach who, as long as Jeff Marks has been here, a new coach is going to put his own imprint, his own plays, his own style, his own really everything to the program. And the fact that it hasn't taken as long as I think some people expected to start seeing some better results from this Glenbrook North side.
Especially with hockey being such a long season. Sorry, Max.
Sterner, the shot, just turned aside. Gerathanos, the follow-up. O'Leary collects behind the goal for York. Talked a lot about Jeff Marks' first season. Of course, Evan Pulakitis' first season in York after a very successful tenure for Matt Boeing, who, growing family, had to step aside from his hockey duties. Number one role, of course, is dad. Matt, if you're out there watching, we miss you, buddy. A great fixture on the network and have those back-to-back state championship appearances. I want to remind you the third periods on the SHL network are sponsored by Glenbrook North Hockey. The third period where winners win. Big thank you to Glenbrook North for all of their great contributions to the SHL network, not just this year, but over the years as well. This shot high as Spiegel snaps it and gets a nice hug from Sully Lions. But third period's sponsored by Glenbrook North. Big thank you to them.
Yeah, that puck going well high, but we see Spiegel locked in with the glove, reaches up and snaps that one out of the air. I would also like to give a shout out to Coach Matt Boeing.
This shot fought off, still loose, just side of the net. Sharp angle from Nix goes across the crease.
York continuing to dominate the dot, but yeah, shout out to Matt Boeing. really took this York program to the next level, not only in the SHL, with the state recognition, taking them to back-to-back state championships as well.
And now Evan Polakidis inherits quite a roster. They've spent time at the #1 team in the state this season. A couple of losses in November, early December, dropped them down the rankings a couple, but they are going to be in the mix the entire way, especially once they get healthy. Been missing a couple of pieces, a suspension tonight as well. That's Jimmy Spano, who I expect to get back, maybe sometime in the middle of January, end of January. Plenty of time to ramp up before the playoffs come. Wraparound shot, puck loose in the slot. Fafinski's shot, Spiegel the save. Fafinski gets it again, his shot turned aside. Another shot in on Spiegel, and he's up to the task. 3 or 4 saves there from Spiegel to keep GBN ahead.
I think that puck might have hit head coach Jeff Marks on the bench right in the head, but not going to let us distract that from the highlight of Logan Spiegel just making stop after stop. High danger chances.
That did hit Jeff Marks. He's making sure he's got his faculties. Sully Lyons gave him a stick tap like, you all right, coach?
Yeah, everybody's laughing on that bench, so can only assume everything's fine.
Another one coming right back at the bench. Babula plays it below for Jerzyk. Stuck in the corner. Trying to dig it out. Now 4 or 5 players tied up together in that corner. Jensen waiting for it. Eventually that's who it comes to. Cross for O'Leary. Plays on to Fafinski. Fafinski, the lone goal scorer for York so far tonight. Smith comes in. A bit of a high hit. York side not happy about it. And we're going to get a penalty. Yep, I didn't see the referee down to our left, but that was a little bit of a lazy hit from Smith. Came in high. Didn't need to do it. It's going to be before the mark you're looking at now, about 10 seconds further, Sam, if you can roll that back a little bit further. But a power play opportunity here for the Dukes.
We're going to see it here. It looked like Fafinski was already pinned up against the boards in the glass, and Smith is that third man in. I believe it goes straight to the head. Right there you see it. And you see the reaction from Fafinski. He went back to the bench a little bit shaken up. It looks like it's only going to be a 2-minute penalty. I think Glenbrook North is a little bit fortunate to only have a 2-minute penalty there.
Just didn't need to do it. I mean, the body check would have been plenty. Smith just had his arms and shoulders a little bit too high. Got to keep those arms down, especially in this situation. Here's Pretzi.
Get our first look at the Glenbrook North power play.
Pretzi across for Shorter. Shorter lines up the one-timer, blockered away by Spiegel, up into the netting with 1:38 to go on the power play.
Good play there from the Dukes, but no net front presence. As they set up this one-timer here, so we're going to get it from the goal cam. So you see Spiegel just got a clear line of sight on that one.
Shorter with, if not the heaviest, one of the heaviest slap shots in the entire state. Spiegel saw it the whole way. We're going to get a face-off violation as Maurer frustrated with the linesman. It'll be Liam Brown coming in to take the draw for the Dukes. Semmelhack tries to clear it around the boards, comes to Luke Jackson. At the point, Shorter fires it back towards Spiegel. Semmelhack knocked it down and fires along the boards. Too many men on the ice as it hit 2 guys that were on the ice. Somehow, no call. Should have been 5-on-3 for York. No idea how that got missed with 2 guys standing in front of the GBN bench.
It's kind of a quirk in the rules, Max, but some people will tell you that the guy has to deliberately play the puck in order for it to be too many men.
Now a turnover almost from Pretzi as Jackson doing good work on the penalty kill.
I will add in that the closest official to the GBN bench was the linesman.
So a break for GBN as they're still on the penalty kill here, and the Dukes now having trouble getting possession of the puck.
He was yelling at the linesman for the call. He can't make that call.
You would hope that one of the other 2 orange armbands around the rink would have seen it, but alas, we'll play on. As again, GBN able to quickly clear.
After that initial shot on the one-timer, York really struggled to get some possession of the puck. As you mentioned, Max, it was tough for them to even break it out originally.
Now skating across half lines, Hayes fires it deep. Pretzi not able to keep it in. Under 10 to go in the power play. Really good kill here from Glenbrook North. Power play over, back to 5-on-5 is GBN. And off of it, Gerathanos forced the turnover. Centering for Sterner, couldn't quite handle it in the slot. He was wide open. That's where he scored both of his goals in the North-South game.
And the goal like that earlier today.
Pretzi trying to settle down the Dukes. A little bit out of sorts here at the end of the power play they had where they got nothing going. Morrissey able to win the puck and play it deep. Now Pacente. Off the boards and out. Sully Lions back to play it for GBN. Between the legs of Papadopoulos, Pacente back to play it. Karras along the far half boards. Comeback able to get it out. Now he'll chip it in towards Spiegel. Scoops it up and opts to play it for Semmelhack. Karras, quick touch pass. Morrissey couldn't handle it. Settles to the stick of Ovanian. Semmelhack settles at center ice, sends it right back in. GBN playing a simple game right now, keeping the pressure down on the right side of the rink in the York defensive zone. York just not able to break out the way they want to. And now a huge hit delivered by Shorter on Ovanian.
That can be the type of play to jumpstart a team, but like we've seen this physical play happen all game.
You saw the bench of the Dukes leap in the air as soon as that hit was delivered, icing the call. And we'll go back down the other end. Do you know a volunteer or youth player in your hockey community who deserves to be recognized? The Wolves and Guzman y Gomez have teamed up for the Little Wolves Amateur Hockey Volunteer of the Month program. Learn more at chicagowolves.com/fansden. Sam Schwartz throwing up a couple of storylines. Carmel, the big upset over Lake Forest, who's been one of the real surprises so far in the SHL. New Trier came back after Stevenson taking an early lead. Fighter last week checked on the scoreboard, was up 2-0 over Loyola. Pretzi centering pass, backhand shot. Maurer didn't get much on it, almost like a changeup to a power hitter. Almost had that puck squirt under the glove of Spiegel.
It's a great analogy, Max, and you see Spiegel right there just able to hold his glove down long enough.
That last little extension, because he was fully committed in the butterfly and just sticks that leg out. Sometimes the ones that seem the easiest can throw you for a loop, right? You have that timing, just like I mentioned, a changeup to a hitter. You have that timing, and when it doesn't come in a natural kind of rhythm, Andrew, it can be tough on a goaltender.
And it's really underrated how fast not only the players, but the puck is moving. So the interruption of that timing is just so important.
Maurer trying to play it forward for the Dukes. Instead, it comes to Semmelhack. Off the boards and out. Barton back to take it for the York. Now Gerathanos pulling on a man in the offensive zone. O'Leary fights it off. Morrissey plays it around back. Gerathanos below the goal line. Centering, splits the defenders. And it'll go all the way back down to Spiegel. Jackson not enough on the deflection. Comes to O'Leary. He'll fire it deep and he'll head for a change. Luke Jackson behind his own goal. Finds Vinny Serra. Takes a weird bounce off the stanchion. Fortunate for Dukes, but they couldn't find it. Instead it comes to Nix. His shot just wide. Now York trying to take advantage of the fortunate bounce. Brown can't keep it in the zone.
GBN doing a good job of exiting the zone. Might not be the prettiest at all points in time, but they're getting that puck outside the blue line, forcing the Dukes to reset.
Now Semko. Pacente on his back. Pacente trying to get to the puck. Semko, one of the smallest guys on the ice, but doing a great job of using his body the best of his ability. Brown. Leaves for Papadopoulos. Now Pirati. Chips towards the GBN goal as Bove's stick went flying in the air with 8:35 to go.
I believe, Max, that is the 6th shot on goal this period, all going to the Dukes. But I think GBN's still happy with the way they are playing. They're really limiting any sort of chances that the Dukes have had so far.
Now, Andrew, as I talk about Jimmy Spano's injury and expected back sometime in, I believe, mid to late January, if you could refresh my memory, but I believe you had an injury, and if I'm not mistaken, came back right as playoffs started. Wasn't it a wrist injury, or am I making that up?
It was a shoulder injury.
Shoulder injury.
But yes, and oddly enough, mine happened, I believe, not that I know the date of it, but January 12th, 2020.
So a little bit more time for recovery. Here's Karras on the 2-on-1. Jackson can't handle the puck across. So a little bit more time for Jimmy Spano, but certainly going to have to fire it up quickly come the end of January. He is such a critical part of the offensive attack for York, leading them in points on the season.
And I know it might not seem like it now because the results initially might not be what they want, but an injury to a star player like Spano can actually help out a team by forcing guys to realize what it's like not to play with them, so they start to step up. Then you add that star player back, and the team is just better as a whole.
I'm not sure if you were talking about yourself in the third person, but we'll play on. Here's Babula. O'Leary, the shot, the deflection just going wide as Jensen was on the doorstep, but just wide of him.
Saw the Duke forecheck get after it there. They forced that turnover, got that shot from the point. Deflection just missing the net.
Papadopoulos across. Brown thought about a one-timer, pulled it down, never got a shot off. Now Semmelhack. Missing everybody. That'll be icing. We'll head back down into the GBN zone.
10 minutes into this one, with only 7 minutes to go. And like I said, only 6 shots on goal, not one. Or no, excuse me, the GBN picks up their first shot, but this is playing into the hands of the Spartans so far.
You can definitely tell York has been playing with a little bit more of a sense of urgency. We heard Evan bring up that he wants his team to get in on the forecheck to try to create opportunities, and it looks like they're trying to do that. It's just a matter of trying to stifle the GBN defense from breaking the puck out.
Draw to the left of Spiegel. Barton wraps around the boards. No Duke around the other side as Gerathanos takes a peek up ice. Sterner gets a piece of it, so no icing. Pretzi and Sterner jockey. It's Pretzi that gets the best of him. Now the commotion in the corner. Luke Jackson comes away with it. Gerathanos, the one-timer. Brown all out of sorts, but fortunate a second shot didn't come his way.
Almost a little bit of puck luck there for the Spartans. Gerathanos fanned on that shot, almost wound up on the stick of Sterner or Morrissey right in front.
O'Leary chips it deep. Sterner thought about chasing after it. Instead, he'll go for a change. Dukes get a few fresh bodies. Full change for GBN. O'Leary puts the puck in deep as he'll go for a change. On comes Jackson. He'll chip it in deep. Jerzak and Babula headed on the forecheck. Nothing happening on the forecheck. The Dukes come out with it. And it looked like Fafinski held the line. A late whistle on the offside. GBN doesn't like it. I don't blame the shot at all. It was a late whistle. Did not think it was out of turn.
Looks like we might be getting some penalties as well. We'll have to see what happens when they sort this all out, Max. That offsides was real tight. I
thought he held it, frankly.
I think I would have to agree.
We're going to look at it here. Oh, this was the shot, excuse me, from Gerathanos before in the scramble.
I could be mistaken, Max, but I believe the official had his hand up after when there was all that pushing and shoving.
I think it might have been more of a point than a hand straight up, as in, fellas, let's get outside this zone and drop the puck with 5:40 to go. A little bit of a confusing signal, no doubt.
That's why you're here and you get paid the big bucks.
Pirati absorbs a check, puts it in the GBN zone. Smith deflects out of midair. Pirati comes away with it for York. Played too high. This isn't Addison Ice Arena, where he probably would have been fine with that height of the puck. Here at Northbrook, mentioned it earlier, maybe 20 feet from the ice surface to where the stanchions start, and maybe 25 feet to the roof.
And it looked like they were trying to spring one of their forwards for potential breakaway on that play, but as you mentioned, it's just so very tough to do here at the Northbrook Sports Center.
Draw to come to the right of Levi Brown. Pops right into the glove of Brown, and another whistle. Make sure you stay with us after the game for the Loyola Academy Hockey post-game winners interview. Loyola Academy Hockey, a tradition of excellence. Great partners here on the SHL network sponsoring the post-game winners interview, so don't go anywhere after the game to hear from the winning side, which right now, a little bit of an upset brewing here in Northbrook is GBN a 2-1 lead with just about 5 minutes to go in the third.
So another puck goes up into the ceiling here, Max. Seems like every time we bring it up, right after that, another puck goes right into the low ceilings here, slowing down the game a little bit.
Neutral zone face-off. Here's Shorter. Just crosses center ice. Rifles it deep. Passion trying to win a board battle. Sarah in there as well. Comes Papadopoulos. Centering pass. Just missed Jensen. Back to Shorter. Takes the wrist shot. Looks for a deflection. Never got one. Pretzi. Now under 5 minutes. Pinches in to keep it alive. Jackson pokes it free. Jensen steps up. Wraps it around the board. Papadopoulos gives chase in the corner. Karras coming over to support for GBN. No reverse flow. Pretzi again pinches, and as he does, deflects up into the roof. Looking offensive zone draw coming for York.
That's a small thing, but that's a really nice hustle there by Pretzi. That the play doesn't stay alive, but just by getting over and deflecting that out, you get an offensive zone draw. And with the clock winding down here, and you're just trying to get every offensive chance you can, that's huge.
Not to mention some of York's best chances have come off of faceoffs. GBN wins the draw there, but I think the more offensive zone faceoffs the Dukes can get in these last 4 minutes, the better their chances are at scoring.
Come back. Almost gets past Spiegel. I didn't think there was a screen. He just never really saw it. I don't know if it was knuckling, but it was wide of the net.
Spiegel did not react to that puck until it hit the end boards behind him. Possibly Semmelhat could have been in front of him, but yeah, if that was on goal, there's a pretty good chance that would have wound up in the back of the net.
Deflection across. Come back. Sends it back to Lions. Instead settled by Semmelhat. York continues as a trip in the middle of the ice. Barton takes a tumble. Will go for a change. GBN hurried. They would have had an odd man advantage. Not quite able to take advantage. Changes for both sides. Running on the fly. Passion steps across center ice. Fires it right in on Spiegel, who has to take a whistle with 3:27 to go.
Another offensive zone coming up for the Spartans. We see the bench communicate what play they're running. This faceoff's going to be to the right of Logan Spiegel this time. Have to keep an eye on Levi Brown as well, Max and Chris, to see when Evan Polkias decides to pull his goaltender.
You played for him. What was his general philosophy when it came to such things?
I'd say right around down 1 goal, right around 2 minutes. You can gain possession in the zone.
Passion wins the puck in the offensive zone. Fafinski trying to make his way is again the puck heading towards Jeff Marks. .3:14 to go here in the third, and GBN looking to pull the upset on home ice here on a Saturday night in a packed barn here at Northbrook Ice Center. Triple header, the Varsity 2 game before this one, and the JV game coming up after.
It's like GBN was a little late getting their change on. Giorthanos is going to have to go back to the bench.
Critical draw here for the Dukes, won by Smith, and they'll be able to clear.
Huge draw win there for Blake Smith.
Luke Jackson near half wall, can't get it out. Fafinski putting the pressure on. O'Leary comes up the boards to keep it alive, but deflects right to the stick of Ovanian, who clears it up the middle of the ice. Smith carries it forward, the stick lift. Didn't let him get anything on the shot.
That's great effort from Passion there on the back check.
Maurer steps across center ice, sends it deep. Fafinski and Spiegel a little bit late getting back to his goal. Semmelhack wins the puck and plays it out. 2.5 to go here in the third. GBN making changes. O'Leary getting a little bit lost in his own teammates. Turns it over. Karras now on the counter. Hovanian up the slot. Karras the shot followed. Almost got a second shot off. Eventually cleared out by the Dukes defense.
Really start to keep an eye on Levi Brown here if the Dukes can gain the zone.
Brown takes a shot, gloved by Spiegel with 2:08. Take a look down at the York bench. Would this be a spot they may want to call a timeout? And we see the signal from Evan Polikitis. It'll be a timeout on the Glenbrook North bench with 2:07 to go. You'd imagine they'd probably come out, if not fully 6 attackers, maybe halfway to the bench, a little bit goaltender Levi Brown.
Yeah, we'll have to see if Coach Evan decides if he's going to start out with the 6 for the draw or if he's going to wait till they gain possession. I'd like to think with a little bit over 2 minutes to go, he'll probably start with 5 attackers and as soon as they can gain possession. But with the success they've had on draws today, I wouldn't be surprised if they just started out with 6 as well. On the other hand, for Coach Jeff Marks, you see him giving his team instructions right now. I'm sure it's just as simple as possible, off the glass, whatever it takes to get the puck out of the zone. Don't worry so much about the empty net until you gain the red line. Number one objective is to get the puck over the blue line. Make York have to go back, retreat, and go at least 100, maybe even 200 feet to score a goal.
2:07 to go. The draw is going to come to the left of Logan Spiegel, who's got 26 saves on 27 shots at this point in the game. For Spiegel, who came into the game with a 4.4 goals allowed average per game. He's got the most starts for this GBN side at 9. 4.48 goals allowed average, giving up just 1 to this point. He's been really good. I mean, this is the first time I've had a chance to see Logan Spiegel this season. It's been a rotation in net. Ben Melnick, Victor Kulikov, and Logan Spiegel all having taken turns. But a performance like this from Spiegel, you'd imagine he may get some more coming up.
Looks like we do have Levi Brown on the bench as York has 6 attackers. Clean win.
Empty net for York. The shot, back door was O'Leary, just couldn't get to it. Excuse me, it was Barton, who was a quarter of a step short. Puck goes wide, so no empty net goal. Passion brings the puck for the Dukes. 6 attackers, empty net. Semmelhack, send it back the way it came. Misses everybody. Now Sterner able to take a chance. The shot deflects just wide. Fortunate, no icing.
I'm sure a lot of the players, that puck look had some curve on it.
Girathanos nearly with the empty netter. Now Shorter. Shot in on Spiegel. Couldn't quite grasp it. Goes up into the rafters. And like an outfielder, Logan Spiegel, somehow that puck weaved its way through the rafters. And he really looked like a center fielder the way he looked up for that puck.
Or even like a punt returner calling for the fair catch with guys in his face.
That is not an easy play.
I can't imagine goaltenders are practicing that sort of save that much either.
Now 29 saves on the game for Logan Spiegel. Draw 1 by GBN, but now trapped in the corner is Sully Lions. They'd be more than content with GBN just to waste as much time in that corner as possible. Passion comes away with it, wraparound, turns and shoots. Deflects up into the net. I think it'll be an offensive zone draw with 59 ticks remaining.
Looks like there's a York Duke player.
Yeah, Fafinski, I think, took a bit of a high stick, maybe up to the neck area, a little bit slow getting up.
59 seconds to play, and we see, look at there, Passion maybe could have gotten 1 step further out. He could have picked that far side top corner, but the pressure got to him just in time, and that shot ended up going wide.
Draw to the right of Spiegel. Morrissey, tied up, gets it back to Shorter. Shorter shot, has a man in front, gets the deflection, but the save by Spiegel, and it's going to be a hand pass.
I believe he closed his hand on the puck. That is the call.
Close to maybe a penalty, Andrew. That was Quite the closed fist for what felt like more than the usual beat that is the leeway given. I think GBN might be fortunate that they're not down a man here.
I think there could have been a penalty handed out on that play as well.
Passion shields Girathanos to allow Shorter to come up, keep the puck alive. Maurer trying to center for Passion, misses. The empty net attempt goes wide with 37 to go.
Real important draws here, Maxes. We see from the goal cam that puck went well wide of the net, drawing that icing call. As we see the Dukes, they're going to make a change here after their top line has been out there for about a minute and a half.
Still 6 attackers for York. Shorter winds up, and it's blocked by Girathanos. Pressure kept on by Morrissey. Brown trying a centering pass, chipped ahead, and Spiegel plucks it out of the air with 21 and a half to go.
We're seeing the all-out effort here from the Spartans. Bodies on the ice, blocking shots, blocking passes. And with the pressure the Dukes are feeling, they don't have the patience or the time possibly to try to wait those guys out on the ice.
A late change from GBN, and referee's going to say, no, sir. Nick Jackson head back to the bench.
Another huge face-off here with 21 seconds to go.
This one won by the Dukes, turned and fired by Gumback, but turned aside by Spiegel. Now Lyons going to try to just hold it in the corner. Dukes desperately trying to pry it free. Now 7 seconds. Brown comes out with it. Hayes trying to get a shot off behind the goal. No final chance for the Dukes. Big win for GBN. They take it 2-1.
Look at the pandemonium from the Spartans as they go to their student section after what is another upset one here on the SHL Game of the Week.
We'll take a timeout. Come back with post-game thoughts from down at ice level in just a moment. You're watching the SHL Game of the Week on YouTube Live and on Marquee Sports Network. Welcome back to Northbrook Ice Central Center, right down to ice level with Chris Dubiel standing by with game-winning goal scorer Jackson Sterner.
Jackson, you and Jamie Morrissey hooked up for an incredible goal for the winner. What'd you see on that play?
I mean, it all started at the blue line. We had a little miscommunication, and Sumolak shot a puck at one of our guys' heads. You know, it was Girathanos. I mean, he made a great play, a little slip, and then Jamie found me back door, and I did the rest. But Jamie, I mean, he's only been on the line now for 2 games. He's made an impact immediately. It was a beautiful play.
I think everybody, at least who follows the SHL, had this game circled for a long time. Obviously, a lot of emotion with Evan Pulikitis coming back and coaching against you guys tonight. What was that like coming into this game, and what was it like to get this win?
I mean, there's nothing like playing a former coach, especially a guy that made so much impact. I mean, we love him, but once you say hi, enter in the rink, and then you get on the ice, we're enemies. But you saw after, I mean, we gave him the utmost respect. I mean, we've been wanting to play him for a long time. It's taken a while to play them too, but nothing but the best for those two guys.
And lastly, it seems like you guys are really coming together over the last month or so, winning more games. What's working for you?
I mean, we've been working hard. I feel like we're really gelling together as a team. I mean, hey, can I get in the picture? No? Yeah, we won. Good job. Thanks, guys. Got to get in the picture.
And there you have it, guys. Back to you.
A happy human down at ice level. That will do it for us from Northbrook Ice Center here on Marquee Sports Network. Andrew, final thought.
Just an absolute great hockey game between two great teams that I look to see have great success for the rest of the year.
No doubt about it. Big thank you to our whole crew here. Matt Freeman on the main camera, Sam Schwartz stepping in for Jimmy the Wiz Olsen, Chris Dubiel down at ice level. That's Andrew Rubin. I'm Max Anderson. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Community Showcase brought to you by the Chicago Wolves right here on Marquee Sports Network. More high school hockey action coming your way in 2025 and beyond.